Welcome back to the Nobody Asked for This podcast. Now, I didn't even know when I clicked record this lovely afternoon, it's morning, this 11:12 a.m. I didn't know that was what was going to come out. That was what I was going to present to people at 11:12 a.m. in the morning, the day before this comes out. Nearing the end of March, we've ushered in spring. I believe we did that. If not the episode before this, the episode before that. But yeah, sometimes I surprise even myself. I like I say, I don't really have a plan for these. As I, for whatever reason, mention every day, every episode at least. But it's just kind of what comes out. I'm always not only surprised, but pleasantly surprised. I have to say, not to brag, not to, I'm trying to be very humble and humility, although it is kind of hard for me sometimes. Like, let me just say this. It's not hard to be humble when, you're not necessarily, the best. But when you're someone like me, it's tough. Humility is a pursuit that I'm working on. But then when I click record on my, iPhone from 5 years ago, and that's what comes out, like that opening song that I sung, and that's what comes out with no rehearsal, it's a little bit harder for me to remain humble, but I'm going to try, and I'm not going to bore you with the details of that pursuit. But yes, thank you. Welcome to the episode number, probably, I think, 42 of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. We are at, I believe, March 30th. When you're listening to this, we're at the end of March, the Ides of March. Don't exactly know what that means, although I'm pretty sure I did write an essay on it, which, you would think, how does one write an essay on something that they can't explain? I don't really know how I did that. I didn't really ever do research for my essays. I've talked about my methods before, in previous episodes, but I kind of would just write my opinions, which is it wasn't the assignment, but I would just write my opinions and then find people that agreed with me. So if you need to write an essay quick, maybe it's the night before, it's 11:12 p.m., and it's due in about, 30-something minutes, whatever the math is on that, if it's due at 11:55. Which, can I just say, how rude. I've talked about before, and this is starting to sound like I'm just recapping anything I've talked about in previous episodes, but trust me, I have new material today. I have a list. I actually did a little bit of preparedness. But what I've never understood is when people, and by people I mean instructors, professors, teachers, of university, when we would start having to turn stuff in online, some people would make the due date 11:50, or the due time 11:59 p.m., and some of them would make it 11:55 p.m. If you're an 11:55 p.m. person, how dare you? Because there were times, because I was down to the wire. I started proofreading 10:58, I knew I had less than an hour to get it. There were times where I would log in at 11:52 thinking, look at me, I'm such a good student, I have 7 extra minutes, and then realize that no, it's actually due at 11:55. You can't give us those extra 4 minutes. Are you going to mark it? Ask yourselves this. If you are listening to this, which is literally no one, trust me, I know. I see the stats. If you are listening to this and you are a professor who assigns essays due for 11:55 p.m. as opposed to 11:59 p.m., then you better mark all of those essays between 11:55 p.m. and 11:59, because that must mean that you need it urgently. You cannot wait the extra 4 minutes. You need the essays now. You need them at 11:55 on the dot, because you are waiting there eager with your red pen, or whatever the digital version of a red pen would be, to tick off my paper. Literally tick off. That was like poetry. It was like a verb. It was like a metaphorical tick off and a literal tick off with a red pen. I would get a lot of question marks on my essays. Teachers would just be like, what? Or explain, or this is in English. quite negative. And again, I still maintained some sense of a confidence, self-esteem. So it was really like, I'm either delusional or very special. And I thrive in the gray of those two areas. I think that is where we should exist. Between delusion and confidence. Be respectful, be nice, but be a little bit delusional and mask it as confidence. And I will be writing a book under the same publishers that published Dr. Phil's book, because I don't know that they really care about like facts or anything. Like, I think they just kind of let you kind of run with it. No offense to Phil. We did a not a memorial because he's still with us, but we did and by we I mean me, did a send-off for good old Philadelphia. Dr. Philly cheesesteak. His show is unfortunately ending, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, what do we have to say this week? Okay, I have my first sort of topic that I would like. Interrupting my own self. Breaking news. I've been sort of tracking this on the last few episodes. Everybody knows Easter season. We're coming up. Cadbury Cream Egg McFlurry time. I have been anxiously awaiting the return of the Cadbury Cream Egg McFlurry, and it's been so late. Normally it comes like right after, the chamois shake leaves. It's like, come on to the next. We're very like, go. But there's been a pause. Shamrock Shakes, left us March, I think, 17th. We're at, as you're listening to this, March 30th. So I was nervous. I was shaking every time I thought about it. My heart was start racing, and I'm pretty sure that had nothing to do with the venti iced coffee I just had before. Like, I was legitimate. I know I joke a lot on this podcast. It's basically satire. But I was, like, legitimately nervous that I was not going to be able to enjoy my favorite Eastern sweet treat of a Cadbury Cream Egg McFlurry. I was actually looking into copycat recipes, which I'm sure could capture almost the same flavor, because really it's just ice cream and a Cadbury Cream Egg that is kind of mixed together. And I can do that, I think. I'm not the best cook, but I think I could do that. And what's a little bit, if you're a longtime listener of the show, which there are none of you, like literally, we had a couple in the beginning. We had a couple real ones who were like sticking with it. I'm not going to call anyone out. They have fallen off, and it is what it is. I've accepted it. We're gonna love them anyway, but they've fallen off, and that's fine. And this is my extending an olive branch. But if you happen to be a long-time listener, you know that I've complained about the McFlurry formula. The McFlurry formula is something that needs to be fixed, because when you get it, I get so excited that I don't even need it to be perfect, which is good because it's not. It's so runny, because I'm pretty sure that their ice cream is like a lot of air. So when you take ice cream that is already air and then put it in that like stick thing, the immersion, not Blizzard, the immersion blender for the McFlurry, you're basically like having a milkshake. And then for whatever reason, all of the toppings, or like the flavor, the Oreo, the score, the Cream Egg McFlurry, whatever you're getting, the M&Ms, it all ends up on the top or the bottom. So it's not a perfect formula, but I was just so terrified that I wasn't going to be able to have my imperfect Cadbury Cream Egg McFlurry that, again, I was looking into how to make one. But thank goodness they came in last minute, under the wire, like, not Christmas, Easter is coming, and they said it'll be here. So I can't wait to have one. Hopefully by next week when I record, I will have had one. Maybe I'll record with one, I think that could be fun. So I just want to say apologies if I was kind of stirring up any public outrage or like scaring people. Like, I didn't want to alarm people. I actually think in my pleads to get the Cadbury Cream Egg McFlurry, I was really trying to tone it down in the last couple episodes, because I didn't want to like send anyone in a state of panic. We're just kind of coming off of COVID. We're kind of, those emergency bells are kind of, coming down. Our something sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic, I don't know. I almost use a science term on the Nobody Asked This podcast. So you can't say that I'm not well-rounded. You cannot say that when I put this podcast under the science charts, podcast charts, in order to chart higher, because there's probably less competition over there. You can't say that I'm lying. Okay? But yes, I am so excited, and I feel like now I can actually usher in the Eastern season. Okay, so now that that's settled, I have something else that I would like to not really complain. It's more so like scientific research. As everybody knows, I would assume everybody knows this. The last maybe 5 to 10 years, it's been all about the milk alternative. You know, we've strayed away from, you know, regular cow juice, and we're going vegan. Now, I think it's partly due to lactose issues, partly due to, you know, just an awareness of the unethicalness, maybe, of cow milk, of cow juice. So we're kind of going with the milk alternative. Now, I love how they're not able to call it milk when it's like from another source. So it's like oat beverage, almond beverage. And I was trying to think, like, what was my experience? Because this is obviously about me. What was my experience of the milk alternative? Now, I'm sure people are like, this is not new. This is not from the last 5 to 10 years. People have been, you know, milking almonds and oats for as long as, you know, as long as humans have been alive. And I'm sure that is the truth. But I can only speak from my own experience. But I'm going to present this information as if it is science and fact-based, okay? So just a quick disclaimer there. I remember probably about 10 years ago, almond milk came across my knowledge. And I was like, what is this? And I tried it, and it tasted gross. But then I realized that, like, in stuff it didn't taste as bad. So, like, if you had it in a coffee, not as bad. If you had it in a smoothie, not as bad. It was a little watery, but I feel like as the time has passed on, they've perfected it. They make it better. So I feel like almond milk is like what, you know, it's a kind of like the go-to non-dairy milk. But, which actually, before the but, I say milk, like M-E-L-K, when I believe it is milk. So, fake imaginary people listening to this, do not, you know, don't get up in arms over my pronunciation of milk. Oh, wait, no, of milk. Like, I know I say it wrong. I'm accepting it. The reason I bring this up is because I was in a grocery store the other day, and I wasn't really on a time crunch, so I was like, let me just, like, peruse. And I went out, you know that weird aisle that it's like green? I don't know if this is, like, a relatable experience, but, like, it's just a regular grocery store. It's not a fancy grocery store, not a specialty grocery store. It's just a regular old grocery store. They have, like, those, like, not plaques, but it's, like, the signs at the beginning of the aisles. You know how there's always that, like, natural section that's, like, green, that, like, you kind of avoid because, like, what is in there that I need? At least if you're me. Like, I had a cartload of, like, I had some Cool Whip, I got like maybe a banana or two, a mango, some soda, lots of hot Cheetos. I think I hit up the ice cream aisle, maybe got some Pillsbury cookie dough. You know, it was a normal, I was getting the essentials. It was a survivalist trip. And I was like, you know what? I never take the time to walk down this, like, fancy aisle. So I walked down, and it was, like, a lot of, like, kombucha. It was a lot of, like, alternative yogurt. Apparently you can yogurt oats. Apparently you can yogurt coconut. I did not know. It was a lot of, like, not protein bars, but, like, health bars. It was a lot of, I guess if I'm explaining everything, it's not really a lot. I'm just kind of listing what was in the aisle. It was a lot of, like, breakfast foods, but, like, healthy. Like, there was a lot of chia. So much chia seeds, so much hearts of hemp. I don't even know what that is, but they have it. It was like overnight oats packs, which I've tried to get into overnight oats. Because it's a great idea. You think, oh my gosh, it's like oats that I want overnight. But I realize, like, I always want them in the morning, which I believe is the time that you're supposed to eat breakfast. But I don't have the strength at night to, like, think ahead and be like, you know what? I think me in the future is going to want some overnight oats. So I need to figure out a way to do overnight oats in like 3.5 seconds, as opposed to the full 12 hours or whatever, however long you sleep, quote unquote, overnight. But yeah, I was walking up and down this aisle, and I saw the most peculiar thing. I saw a row of milk alternatives. Milk, I see it now, I'm self-conscious about how I say milk. Milk beverages. And for whatever reason, I guess they have it now refrigerated in the dairy section, which seems like the place for it. But they also have non-refrigerated plant-based, not plant-based, but like vegan beverages in these fancy green aisles. I'm going to call them the wellness aisles. So I'm in the wellness aisles, and I see like a row of like milk, and I'm like, oof, that's weird. But I'm going through the list, excuse me, and I see, okay, almond milk, how are you? What's up? Again, my thoughts on almond milk, like it's getting better, it's good in stuff. I don't know that I would ever sit around and just feast on almond milk, because like there's other things to do with my time, but not too bad. And then I go to oat milk, which, I have to say, it tastes like hay. And I don't know if it's because in my head I associate oats with hay. I can't say that I'm a fan. But then every once in a while I'll have it in something. Like I'll fall for it. On Starbucks, on the Starbucks app, I'll go to mobile order, and instead of getting my regular drink, I'll be like, oh, what's this fancy thing that they're trying to tell me to get? I don't know if I talked about this, but a couple weeks ago, I always get the same thing. I always get just like a iced coffee, no sugar, no milk from any source, cow otherwise, plant, nope, any sort of nut. I just get regular, just pour me an iced coffee. And I've been getting that for a while. Like I was literally walking around like grade 8 and 9 with my unsweetened iced coffee. I looked very sane. I was really like popular, you know. But anyway, that's a different episode. So yeah, I'm about to order my regular. It's like a reflex at this point. And then I see this like thing that they're trying to get me to get. They're trying to get me to get this like, I think it was called something shaken brown sugar oat blonde upside down. I don't even know, like some sort of espresso something or other. And I was like, you know what? Let's branch out. I click order. My first mistake is that this drink was $7. I'm not even kidding. I got a grande. $7. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was like, is this a joke? But I almost felt guilty, like removing it from my cart. Like I was that far in. Like I committed to it, so let's just kind of go for it, right? $7 for a drink. And I even took away syrups. Like I think it has like 4 pumps of something, brown sugar syrup. And I was like, you know what, just give me 2. Thinking that it was going to make it cheaper. That's not how it works. But if you add one, you still have to pay like an extra 30 cents. But if you take away, you're still paying their price, which I have to talk to the mermaid. Like, this is ridiculous. That would be the mermaid on the cup. I might have talked about this before, but thankfully, that was the episode that 0 listeners listened to. Like, I went on the website that, like, tracks this or whatever. Like, no people participated in that episode. Like, not one. I could just copy and paste the audio from that episode and play it now. People would have no idea. Well, how funny would that be if I just kept playing the same episode? April Fool's is coming up. But that would be pretty sad to, like, play an April Fool's joke on essentially nobody. Anyway, 4th tangent of the story of me trying to bring up what I was trying to talk about, as in what I saw in the wellness aisle. I paid $7, and it was good. So all of this in saying, oat milk, you might have me. But that is a big might. Because again, you kind of taste like hay. And then I saw cashew milk. Okay, I've heard of that. Made me wonder, like, where's the peanut butter milk? I feel like that I would be all about. Like, peanut butter chocolate milk, not by Reese's. No offense, Reese's. You're great, but, like, you're not necessarily, I don't think, can be found in the green aisles, the wellness section. And then I saw the most peculiar thing. I saw rice milk. Now, I vaguely remember that this was a thing. And is a thing and continues to be, and I'm sure has been for centuries. So again, I know. This is very much from my own perspective, which I realize is flawed. But I was just like, I feel like it got left behind. Like it was, I forgot coconut milk. Coconut milk, actually very good. I think that's the only one that doesn't taste like it's not a taste you have to get used to. It's just like, it's sweet. I think coconut is in most things. Like, I don't know that we're like eating almonds for fun, but like people will eat coconut. There's coconut flavored stuff. You have to like the flavor of it. The thing with coconut is I actually relate to a coconut because it's like very overpowering. And it's like either it's a taste you enjoy or you want absolutely nothing to do with it. And if it's in a pie, like let's say you made a pie, or my favorite delicacy, a Nanaimo bar. If coconut is in something, all you taste is coconut. To really make the point, like if I'm in a room, you probably know that I'm there. And you're either excited about that or you like can't run far enough. So me and coconut, I can appreciate it because I am it. I'm a coconut. But coconut milk is good, and that has been picked up. So I feel like the three that are like known and popular, like the top three of milk alternatives, almond, oat, coconut. Almond was the first one, except obviously soy. Soy I think was the first one to really like make it known that these coffee chains like Starbucks are going to be carrying milk alternatives. And then almond was like, I can do this too. And that was accepted. Coconut, they're like, okay, well, sure. Like palm trees, that's fun. Let's do that. Oat, in the last maybe 5 years, people decided we're going to invite it to the party. But for some reason, rice milk hasn't done the thing. They haven't broken into the industry. And I just can't, I can't help but wonder why. Because I did the hard-hitting journalism. And I was like, you know what? This is going to bother me if I don't just buy it and try it. So I bought from the green section of the supermarket rice milk. And I tried it. I put it with some granola. And I topped it with some cinnamon. With mango with cinnamon. I did a cinnamon challenge. And I not sprinkled. I drizzled. That is a word. Drizzled some honey. Just from the tube. Like I didn't get one of those fancy honeycomb things. And I tried it, and it was good. So, why is rice milk not in the lineup? I would say it was better than almond. I would say it was better than oat, for sure. Didn't taste like horse food. And as much as I like coconut milk tastes like something. So it's like, if it's not for you, I'm gonna be a voice for the people that don't like coconut milk, even though I'm not naturally one of them. I would say they would like it better they would like rice milk better than coconut milk. So why did rice milk just get left behind? Why did the mermaid who runs Starbucks not sweep that up? And to be fair, it's not called rice milk. It's called fortified rice beverage. And I think that might be the wording. I think it might be a PR issue. I think we need to get better. It needs a better team behind it to promote it. Because it was delightful. I mean, it's still in my fridge. I would like to think that I'll finish it at some point with my granola breakfast. But yeah, so if you ever take one of my recommendations, I'm going to say purchase some fortified rice beverage. I don't know what fortified means. I don't know if we're drinking the only thing that did spook me out about it is, from my understanding, these types of almond oat milk. I think coconut's different because there might actually be an element of an actual coconut that is milk, so you don't have to milk it. It's not something that has to be done to. It just is kind of naturally occurring. But I'm pretty sure almond and oat milk is just soaked almonds, soaked oats, and the juices of it create a milk. I don't know. I'm not a chef, but all I know is that when you cook rice, you're supposed to wash it and dump that water down the drain. Is that what we're drinking? Is that rice milk? Is that fortified rice beverage? I'm going to Google it. I'm Googling it right now. My fingers are typing. Fortified rice beverage process. Because it was delightful. So it's like if we can kill two birds with one stone. Okay. How to make rice milk. How to make rice milk. Soak rice in 2 cups. Wait, okay. Hold on. Oh, it's quick and easy. We love it. Okay, 3. Okay, yeah. Soak rice in 2 cups. Sorry, I was cut off. And soak rice in 2 cups. So, okay. So it's not the soaked water that gets poured down our nation's sinks when people are cooking rice. It is blended rice. Okay. That makes me feel better. So is oat milk? Blended oats? Last one. Is oat milk blended? My FBI agent is going to be like, what is happening? Oh, same website. How to make oat milk. Minimalistbaker.com. Is this baking? Yeah, it might be blended as well. We're just learning all of the things today. Anyway, I didn't mean to go on a 45-minute tangent about fortified rice beverages and oat milks and non-dairy alternatives, but it happened. And, I'm going to leave it in. I'm not going to edit it out because that would involve effort. And talk about a minimalist baker. I'm a minimalist podcaster. Yeah, that's what I'm going to start saying. I think we need to rebrand laziness. And I actually have a story about that. So the other day I was trying to get into something and it wasn't working. And I tried again and I did the thing where you turn the computer off and then you start it again, you wait a couple hours, you try it again, and it just was not working. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to email somebody about said thing. And I was just too lazy. And I didn't want to bother people. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. So I left it for about 24 hours and I was like, okay. I kept pushing it off. I'm like, yeah, I'll email about it later. I finally got to a point where I was like, do you know what? Let's just do it now. And I was like, I'm going to try one more time to do this thing before I emailed. And it worked. So I just can't help but take the lesson from that experience, because that's all life is. You're learning lessons, and I can't help but take the lesson that sometimes laziness is for common good. My inability to type an email and my sheer lack of wanting to do so, and it gave me the grace to wait 24 hours, which allowed for a result that resulted in not having to write said email. So I'm just going to take that as a sign from whoever is out there that laziness is rewarded, pretty much. And I think we really need to, laziness has such a negative connotation. I think we need to change it. I think we should use words like proactiveness, patience. I'm not lazy, I'm patient. I'm not lazy, I'm calm, laid back. I think there's ways. I think the people who I'm going to hire to do the promotion for the fortified rice beverage, which their first task is to change the name. I think we need to acquire that team to rebrand laziness. I think laziness is not as celebrated as it should be. And I don't know if that's controversial. I don't know if that is me just kind of making excuses to make myself feel better, but whatever works. We're rebranding laziness. On this date, March, by the time you hear this, March 30th, 2023. It is no longer bad to be called lazy. Okay? Which, we have to put this to the test. I have said in a past episode, maybe even this episode, that, the ice cream machine at McDonald's is generally broken. And while it is generally broken, I don't think it's genuinely broken. I think it is a laziness from the from the staff there. And while it is something I've complained about and is something that I am in direct opposition of, anything that stops me from having ice cream is usually not something that I am in favor for. If the root cause is laziness, I have to celebrate it now. I have to have a taste of my own medicine. So no, they are not being lazy when they don't allow me a Cadbury Cream Egg McFlurry. They are being cautious. They are looking out for, like, what if I developed a dairy allergy, in the hours leading up to me ending up at the drive-thru? Maybe they are protecting me. Maybe they are being cautious. They're not lazy, they're cautious. They're not lazy, they are protective. They're not lazy, they are adhering to food safety rules. Like, maybe the machine genuinely needs to be cleaned. We're really reshaping things here. And I think that's all you can do. With that nonsense, I'm gonna do our classic outro. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I have to acknowledge, as I have a couple times this episode, and do at least twice an episode. I know nobody's watching this, no one's listening to this, but just in case there is someone, thank you. I hope you have a great week. Please tell somebody to go to nobodyaskedforthis.podbean.com. That is our website. You can find us on Apple Music, or not Apple Music. The Apple Podcasts, Spotify, a couple other places. It's all on our website. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We were briefly on TikTok. I think we did a TikTok retirement. By we, I mean me, and my team of producers. And yeah, I want to thank you all once again for listening. I really do appreciate it. Have a great Thursday if you're listening to this on the day it comes out. If you're listening to it on another day of the week, have a great Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Wednesday, or Tuesday. I don't know what happened there. I forgot the days of the week. But I will see you all next time. Or more so here. I guess there's not really sight involved in this. But yeah, have a great week. Bye.